Tonight, we're uncovering something disturbing. In Nevada, 14,000 mail-in ballots have invalid signatures. In Maricopa County, they are warning about days of counting. Pennsylvania, Michigan, Georgia, all suddenly announcing delays. But here's the pattern they don't want you to notice. It's only happening in key battleground states, the same states that could decide everything. Coincidence? Let me show you what we've discovered about these so-called delays. You know what's amazing about these vote counting delays? They want us to believe technology has advanced so much, yet somehow we can't count votes as fast as we did decades ago. And speaking of defying age, have you seen Chuck Norris lately? He's in his 80s, but he's still kicking butt, working out, and staying more energetic than these slow counting election officials. His secret? One simple change that's keeping him stronger and more vital than ever. His wife started doing it too. She says she feels a decade younger. So what is the age-defying secret? Well, Chuck made a special video explaining everything. You need to watch it at chuckdefense.com/next or by clicking the link below. It will revolutionize how you think about aging. Once again, that's chuckdefense.com/next or click the link in the description to watch the video. You won't believe how simple it is. Okay. Joe Rogan has come out fully endorsing Donald J. Trump. Joe Rogan endorses Trump for president, Donald Trump Jr., making the announcement. The great and powerful Elon Musk, if it wasn't for him, we'd be effed. He makes what I think is the most compelling case for Trump you'll hear, and I agree with him every step of the way. For the record, yes, that's an endorsement of Trump. Enjoy the podcast. So the podcast has just dropped, and we have a clip here. This is Elon Musk issuing a horrifying warning just hours ago.
If the Dems win this election, they will legalize enough illegals to turn the swing states, and everywhere will be like California. There will be no escape.
That is so insane.
This is the final. This is it. This is the last chance.
Has anybody tried
and
to
I
push
just want
back?
to go out and vote. Vote like your life depends on it. Vote like your future depends on it, because it does. This is the last chance, man. If the
Wow. And he's not just talking to Rogan. He looked right at the camera, and he's issuing that message to everyone in America. And we just found this out. This just was published 2 hours ago. Dr. Robert Epstein. He is a data analyst, and he's doing some amazing work with search results. They've got like 14,000 computers, and they're all searching keywords on Google. And they're cataloging all the results, and they're finding patterns of bias baked into the algorithm. This is just 2 hours ago. What Google is doing right now in the swing states is reprehensible. Now, I want to make it clear, Dr. Robert Epstein, he is not a Republican, okay? He says Google is using at least 7 powerful techniques to shift votes in those states, including partisan go vote reminders that will guarantee that Harris wins at least 5 of the 7 swing states nationwide. They are guaranteeing her a win margin minimum between 6 and 8 million votes. Look at these latest Ohio search suggestions and search results. These manipulations to discredit or neutralize one candidate sways millions of votes. So here we have, these are the search results for Ohio Senate candidates, Bernie Moreno and Sherrod Brown. And you can see these are the search results when these individuals come up. How many times was Ohio U.S. Senate candidate Bernie Moreno sued during his business career? Trump-backed Senate candidate faces GOP worries that he could be linked to an adult website profile. WHRT, Ohio workers are saying Moreno sold out American workers. Another headline, could Republicans blow it with bad candidates again? All negative headlines for Bernie Moreno. Sherrod Brown, though. What are the headlines? What are the search results for him? Brown walks so Waltz could run. Senator Brown with Dayton allies hails new American flag law at Air Force Museum. Bernie Moreno misleads on Sherrod Brown votes for federal aid for migrants. Senator Brown talks workers, reproductive rights, fentanyl legislation in Dayton. So these are all headlines that are being pushed, and you can see right there on the left, all negative, on the right, all positive. That's very dangerous. And these are the search results themselves. Wow. These are the search suggestions. Remember when you would type in like Donald Trump assassination and nothing would show up? Or assassination attempt? None of it it was getting buried. Well, this is apparently happening with this one example. Bernie Moreno, and you can see all these suggestions that are just pretty much neutral or negative. But then Sherrod Brown, approval rating, campaign website, opponent polls, yard sign. So clearly there is manipulation, and Dr. Robert Epstein is on the case. So you need to go and support this guy and follow him on X. Okay, let's continue. We've got here this other news. Almost 14,000 mail-in ballots in Nevada currently don't have adequate signatures and will not be counted unless they are cured. This is devastating news for Kamala Harris. Democrats are already underwater in Nevada's early voting. This will make it much worse. For example, in 2022, 6,000 ballots statewide needing a signature cure were not counted. Nothing is going right for Kamala's camp. They place all their trust in creating a mail-in voting firewall, but has dramatically failed in every way. Make sure you get out and vote for Trump tomorrow. And before I went live, I had this message that came in from a dear friend and supporter of the show. And let's see, we have, where did it go? Okay. He said that he got a call from a mutual associate of ours who is close to the Trump campaign. And the Trump campaign told him that Trump is way ahead in New Mexico currently. So that is good news right now. And of course, tomorrow we'll find out how it all plays out. We also have this from Texas. The Texas Attorney General Ken Paxton just deployed his legal army to the biggest cities across Texas to identify and prosecute any election fraud that occurs. Democrats will not be able to steal Texas. The Election Day, this is wild, the Election Day Rapid Response Legal Team will be equipped to enforce Texas election laws and take immediate action on any contingencies, including issues seen in previous cycles such as ballot shortages, extended polling location closures, and improper extension of voting hours. Similarly, the OAG will prepare to take defensive action against activist groups who might attempt to influence the election through litigation. The good news is coming thick and fast. So this is coming out of Texas, the Attorney General, Ken Paxton. I love you, Ken. I love you, buddy. All right. We've also got this. This is why Trump said he can win New Jersey. An army of Jewish voters flooded the polls in Lakewood to vote for Trump. It's the largest Jewish community in the state of New Jersey. When have you ever seen this? Look at all these people. They are lining up to vote for Trump. The Jewish community in New Jersey.
Okay. We're the last in line. All right, so we know the last person to check in.
You didn't mean you were going to get in or no?
No, you're done.
God bless them. Okay, we got some more news. Marjorie Taylor Greene press release office. Joe Rogan asked the best question after Elon talks about not requiring voter ID. Let's listen.
So a friend of mine, California is supermajority Dem, 70% Dem. A month ago, they passed a law making it illegal to show ID in any election in California. So a friend of mine went to vote in Palo Alto because he was like, "Is this for real?" He tried to show his ID, and they reacted like if you show a cross to a vampire. Okay, they're like, no, we can't even look at that ID. It is illegal for them to even look at your ID if you want to present it in California.
Why?
For any election at all, even like city council.
What logical reason other than to cheat would you ever have that law?
The reason is to cheat.
But the only it's only like you can never make an argument any other way. And I think 84% of people polled believe that you should show ID to vote. So it's against the will of the people.
Yes, and we are extremely rare. We're an outlier in not requiring ID. Basically, almost every country on earth requires ID to vote. So as soon as you ban ID for voting, it makes fraud impossible to prove. Because how do you trace the fraud?
Right.
Exactly. They don't want voter ID. Attorney General Ken Paxton, again, deploying an Election Day rapid response legal team to major counties throughout the state to monitor day of election activity and address litigation arising from the election as necessary. This is from their official office. Also, Drew Hernandez posting this 5 hours ago. Assistant County Manager Zach Shira has confirmed the full election results might take a few days to announce after Election Day in Maricopa County, Arizona.
Received to date. My name is Zach Shira, and I'm the Assistant County Manager for Elections and External Affairs here at Maricopa County. As we do every election, our first results drop will be 8 p.m., an hour after the polls close. We expect this will be between 70 and 75% of the early ballots that we have received to date. Additional results will be reported throughout the night, and those will be the in-person votes that we tabulate at our vote centers. The majority of ballots will be counted within the first 24 hours after the polls close. But it's important to remember that here in Arizona, our races are extremely close, and it still might take a few days for you, the media, to call those races. It is possible that some of the candidates who are ahead on election night, and some of those questions as well, might not be ahead and might not maintain those leads after Election Day as additional ballots are counted and reported. This is normal. My name is Zach.
Oh, yeah. We're not going to have all the votes, and just be prepared for the vote to flip in Maricopa County, Arizona. Yeah, that was one of the big problem states in 2020. Remember, Fox News called it before like any votes were even counted. Oh, that was horrible. So get ready, folks. Just get ready. Here we have the Georgia Supreme Court has ruled that no election office can extend voting to accept ballots after Election Day. WSB TV Channel 2. Georgia Election State Supreme Court reverses extension for thousands of mail-in votes. So they will not be counted after Election Day. No excuses for District 11 voters. Did you hear about this? Oh, yeah. There's a power outage in the Bay Area on Election Day, like a scheduled one. We won't be affected by Bay Area power outages. You have the power to retire Scott Wiener and elect Yvette. She's running for the California Senate. Look at this. San Rafael, California, Pacific Gas and Electric is notifying 15,000 customers in 17 counties that utility may shut off their power on Tuesday. But officials also said only two polling places are in the affected outage area. One polling location is in Lakeside Elementary School in Los Gatos, and the other is in Calpine Geothermal Visitor Center in Middletown Lake County, a 2-hour drive north of San Francisco. So, why would you schedule power outages on Election Day? Can't you wait? And now 2 locations are going to be affected. Okay, here's some Nevada early voting numbers are in. Donald Trump, Republicans winning. So far, 43,000 votes over Kamala Harris. Total over 1 million votes have been cast. Here we have a New York voter found a fraudulent vote was cast in his name and it will count. Proof of citizenship to register to vote would have prevented this Michigan situation, but voter ID wouldn't have prevented the New York situation. Yet the left will bang the "our elections are secure" drum. This was actually sent to me by one of our viewers. After voter finds fraudulent ballot cast in his name, New York tells him it'll count anyway. Dutchess County, New York. I'm sorry, sir, but you already voted. No, I didn't. Well, where'd it go? No, I didn't. 55-year-old Mike Miner told Wappingers Falls election worker on Sunday if that's not what election records showed. Miner told the Federalist that he decided to vote early just a day after early voting began on Saturday. I went up to the table. I was told I already voted. I asked, where did I vote? Because, of course, this is very surprising, and they told me I voted in the town of Fishkill, which is located next to Wappingers, 22 minutes after early voting began. Miner was given an affidavit ballot, which is a provisional ballot that is secured inside an affidavit envelope. A bipartisan team at the Dutchess County Board of Elections investigated the situation, determined that since the signature provided Saturday did not match Miner's actual signature, Miner's affidavit ballot will count. But so will the fraudulent vote cast Saturday in Miner's name. That's because once Miner's ballot is cast, the vote itself becomes anonymous, making it impossible to identify the fraudulent vote and remove it from the bunch. Well, okay, I got a big problem with this. They were able to match the signatures and say that his vote would actually count, but they can't find the other vote to cancel it out. They can find the signature, make sure it matches, but it doesn't. But they won't count. I mean, this doesn't make any sense at all. Since the signature provided didn't match, Miner's ballot will count. But so will the fraudulent vote. That makes no sense. Absolutely ridiculous. But that happened in New York. Maricopa County officials just revealed that some of the 40,000 incomplete or damaged voter registration forms they received on registration deadline day included fraudulent registrations. Listen to this.
Full of voter that does include 90,000 voter registration forms that were dropped off on the deadline October 7th. That was the largest single day of voter registration forms in Maricopa County's history. We had people with entire trash bags full of voter registration forms in our lobby. Now, a lot of people have asked about the integrity of those voter registration forms. About 50,000 of those voter registration forms were voter registration forms that we simply wanted to process and could process and get those people prepared to be able to participate in this election. 40,000 approximately of those voter registration forms were, I think the charitable word would be to say they were needing attention. Those would be voter registration forms that were damaged, voter registration forms torn, voter registration forms written illegibly, voter registration forms that tried to register Mickey Mouse, Jerry Seinfeld, Donald Duck, among others. This put a lot of pressure on the staff. It also potentially has negative ramifications for voters, in the form of if somebody submits a voter registration form that is handwritten, that has been damaged by water or has been torn, we still are required by law to process that voter registration form. We do it to the best of our ability, but sometimes that information is not perfectly accurate. Similarly, if somebody is working with a voter registration group and does not know that he or she has to provide documented proof of citizenship or documented proof of residence, then that person has to go into suspense. Now, the good news is that every single voter registrant who is lacking either information or it's unclear or hasn't provided documented proof of citizenship or documented proof of residency is mailed a letter to the address that we have on file for that registrant. And so we do alert registrants that they need to take some additional step in order to be off of suspense, in order to be fully registered, or in order to be able to fully vote a ballot. I will tell you that this has been a thorn in the side of county recorders throughout Arizona for many years, but it has picked up in recent years. Paper registration forms being done improperly or incompletely. This does include one of the groups that has made news in Pennsylvania, and it is a group that we have worked with before, and we have admonished them to please, please, please submit better voter registration forms, to please do more quality control. This is something that we have also discussed with the Maricopa County.
Oh, yeah. Garbage bags full of registrations for voters. I wonder how many of them are illegals. Here we have some news from Fox. Internal polls have President Trump leading in every battleground state. Let's listen.
Are turning out to vote, and our internal polls have President Trump leading in every single key battleground state. We are cautiously optimistic about a big victory tomorrow night as long as everyone turns out to vote. And we're seeing that people are turning out to vote. When you look at the early voting trends, President Trump and Republicans are leading these early voting trends in every single battleground state. And urban turnout is down compared to where it was in 2020. Female turnout for Kamala Harris is down compared to those that turned out early for Joe Biden in 2020 as well. So all signs point to a victory tomorrow night, but we're not taking our foot off the gas. President Trump has 4 rallies in battleground states today, and we need everyone to get out and vote. And
everyone get out and vote. Tomorrow's the big day. If you didn't vote early, make sure you get there and you prepare for long lines. Pack a lunch, bring some water, because it's going to be a long day. And of course, remember this guy. This is the former Obama campaign manager, Jim Messina.
Concern right now if you're the Harris team?
Well, look, I think it's a couple things. The early vote numbers are a little scary, and you and I have been texting back and forth. Republicans didn't do what they did last time. Last time Trump said don't early vote, and so they didn't. Republicans do have an advantage in early vote numbers. When the early vote come in, it's going to look a little bit different than 2020, and that's scary.
That is scary. That comes from former Obama campaign manager. Here's some more huge election news that broke 6 hours ago. Georgia Supreme Court reversing the Fulton County judge who ruled that Fulton County, Cobb County, and surrounding Georgia counties are allowed to count absentee ballots picked up at cherry-picked offices in deep blue areas, as reported by Phil Holloway, Esquire. Consistent with OCGA, the Cobb County Board of Elections and Registration, the board may count only those absentee ballots received by the statutory deadline of 7 p.m. on Election Day, November 5th. So, no late ballots will be counted, so they can't sneak anything in after the deadline. What else have we got here? Another report, long lines. In Woodbury, Minnesota, sources state that some Republicans have left the line. Folks, don't leave the line tomorrow. Make sure you are there. Now, here is some more news. This is from in October, but people are concerned.
State has different. We might think we knew the results of elections a lot sooner in previous elections. We really didn't. It was just the margins were so large that we were able to call the elections earlier. It always takes a long time to count ballots. We're going to see that again, and margins are likely to be tight, so we might need to wait a few days in states like Georgia and elsewhere.
And David, I really don't think we can emphasize enough the way in which each state has different rules for counting, and the result can be somewhat suspicious looking on the surface processes with the count, right? Yeah, it's not just one. If you got a jar of jelly beans, it's not like one red, one blue, one red, one blue. Sometimes handfuls of results come in at one time, a handful of other results at another time. Could you just talk generally about how we should see the count unfold at that state level?
Right. So we have to remember, and you mentioned this earlier, we run the most complicated elections in the world. We might.
Oh, yeah. But you can't figure it out, right? You got machines counting for you. You can't figure it out. It's ridiculous. Okay, so we've also got news. Timing-wise, Harris team is expecting Tuesday p.m. near complete results from Georgia, North Carolina, Michigan, Virginia, Florida, Ohio, and Colorado. Partial from Pennsylvania, Wisconsin, Arizona. Wednesday morning, most of Wisconsin, additional Pennsylvania, Michigan, later additional Pennsylvania, Arizona, and Nevada. Could take days, according to senior officials, but that's not a sign of fraud. That's just the way it works. Again, Attorney General Paxton deploying his rapid response team. This is also, listen to this. This comes from Times Radio. Democrats seem to be whistling past the graveyard and completely okay. We won't know the results on election night. I wonder why. Let's watch.
Election night. This idea that the DNC and the Democrats overall keep promulgating that this election will not be known on election day is fundamentally dangerous. It is fundamentally not okay that we are not going to know the election results on election night. And the Democrats seem to be whistling past the graveyard and completely okay with this, that we're going to, just be A-okay, dragging this out a week. And that there's going to be an intense legal battle and all of this. Yes. Elections used to be decided on election night. Win or lose, I hope that this election is decided on election night. The American people need this election to be decided decisively on election night, and there needs to be a concession by the losing party.
Okay, well, that is just fact.
Yeah, there needs to be a concession, and Kamala needs to be able to say she lost. Public service news: early voter turnout in Wyoming has been high leading up to Election Day, and a survey shows most think local vote counting will be reliable. However, many feel differently about vote counting nationally. Okay, here is from the New York Times. Counting the votes will extend beyond election night on Tuesday. Determining the outcome of the presidential race could too. Here's what we expect from vote counting in each battleground state. Nevada could take days. Arizona could take days. Wisconsin likely to finish on Wednesday. Michigan, faster than 2020, they question. Pennsylvania, later than election night. North Carolina, they say, counts fast. And Georgia also counts fast. Okay. The suspense is building. Vote counting to extend beyond election night, with battleground states holding the key. Why is it just battleground states? Isn't that bizarre? Libs of TikTok. Leah County, Pennsylvania District Attorney Gavin Holohan has launched an investigation into hundreds of irregular voter registration applications. Many of the forms include incorrect names, addresses, and missing information. This is the fifth county in Pennsylvania that's reported fraudulent voter registration forms, but Democrats say fraud never happens. Stay vigilant and make sure you vote. Make it too big to rig. And here is my vote. No problems to report in Kane County, Illinois, other than being in a deep blue state run by corrupt Democrat establishment who rhinos have no problem colluding with. I voted early. That's right. There's my vote for Donald Trump right there. Here is my ballot. I took picture and video as well. And here it is going into the machine.
Okay, thank you.
Your vote has been recorded. Yes, I did. And I'm proud of it. So this is the long line outside of my polling location. And it wasn't so bad. Weather wasn't horrible. Just kind of a gloomy day. And I walked up and down that line a couple times. Everybody was peaceful. Nobody was really talking to each other. It was about a 45-minute wait, roughly. So Angie and I went and got our vote out. And then I got this picture sent to me. I'll ask you this. Who do you think that she's voting for? Take a good look at that picture. And take a look at the calendar. Who do you think she's voting for? Yeah. New York Post reporting that Trump's leading Harris in every swing state. That was 2 days ago. Another report of long lines in Woodbury, Minnesota. Also, 2 days ago, Atlas Intel, the most accurate pollster in 2020, releases their official swing state poll showing Trump leading in every swing state. The poll shows Trump leading in Arizona and Nevada by very comfortable margins. New Arizona early vote totals are showing 954,000 votes for Republican over the Democrats' 758,000. That's a plus of 196,000 votes. Republicans will be heading into Election Day tomorrow with a 200,000 ballot lead in Arizona. But of course, only the swing states that are saying ballots won't be counted in time, right? NBC, listen to this. They say that Nevada will take at least a week.
Will take a week. The way I said, so she wins North Carolina. We could be living here in Nevada, waiting and waiting and waiting. And if you remember, Nevada will take a week to count all their votes.
Well, because they go 4 days after.
And you'll have more ballots coming in.
Yeah.
And then you're really going to be used a lot on air because this is going to be lawyers upon lawyers litigating which ballots can get fixed or cured is the language you'll start to see, those provisional ballots. So the nightmare scenario where we're just waiting for weeks, sort of the Florida of 2000, the way I said.
You know, that's a word I've never heard before, cured. I've heard that now, not just from him, but from the other guy in Maricopa. Cured, curing the ballots. Interesting language that's now being used. Some keywords we're going to be seeing a lot of in the next couple of days. So let's make sure we've got everything for you guys here. Oh, yes. Let's go ahead and watch this together. Tomorrow we will save America. This is the new ad from the Trump campaign.
What will we do with this moment? How will we be remembered? Look at the opportunities before us.
This election really isn't about the left versus the right. It's about we, the people, choosing our government and the choice between freedom versus tyranny.
Nobody has a chronic disease burden like we have. Why are we allowing this to happen to our children? Ultimately, the only thing that will save our country is if we choose to love our kids more than we hate each other.
What is going on here is deeper than politics. It is deeply spiritual. We are being called to rise above the hatred and the fear and the evil.
We need to remember above and beyond that we must love our neighbors, that we must treat other people as we hope to be treated.
You want to be a rebel? You want to be a hippie? You want to stick it to the man? Show up on your college campus and try calling yourself a conservative.
America is going to reach heights that it has never seen before. The future is going to be amazing!
Don't you want healthy children? Don't you want a president that's going to make America healthy again?
I come to you today as a former Democrat. I will be a first-time Trump voter tonight.
The people dreamed this country, and it's the people who are making America great again.
Let's go. So the pattern is undeniable. Multiple battleground states simultaneously announcing counting delays, ballot signature issues conveniently surfacing at the last minute, emergency legal teams deploying in key counties. But here's what should really make you think. Why can India count over 1 billion votes in a day while Nevada needs a week? What are your thoughts on these suspicious delays? Let me know in the comments below.